Elizabeth Bennion. I'm the director of the American Democracy Project at IU South Bend, and also the director of voter services and engagement for the League of Women Voters of the South Bend area. And we are delighted to partner with the Mishawaka Penn Harris Library to host this Meet the Candidate Forums as the first in a series of 3 forums here in Mishawaka. And we hope that folks will come out on October 3rd for the at-large candidate forum, and on October 14th for the competitive district races for the Common Council, which of course is Mishawaka's City Council. This evening's format is to allow each candidate to have 3 minutes to tell us a little bit who they are and talk a little bit about their key priorities. And we will have a timekeeper in back, Amanda, and you will just see her prompt you if you're a candidate with the 60 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 times, just so you know where you are. And other than that, it will not be a debate, and so you will have uninterrupted time to make your brief statement. And we are thrilled to have all of the candidates. I think we only have one candidate missing from the entire ballot, so that's wonderful. And we are going to, in your program, you will see the order of speaking. And one of the things we decided to do with this forum is to include both contested candidates and uncontested candidates, and that's so folks can really get to know their elected officials, even if somebody doesn't have a challenger this time around. It's nice for people to have an opportunity to hear from their elected official. And so we will start today with an uncontested candidate, and that is your current city clerk, Debbie Ladega Black.
I'd like to start by thanking the League of Women Voters and also the American Democracy Project and the library for allowing us to be here this evening. I'm currently serving my 7th term as city clerk. My accreditations are I am an Indiana accredited municipal clerk, a certified municipal clerk, and a master municipal clerk. Those are through the International Institute of Municipal Clerks and Ball State University. I'm also a member of APT US and Canada. That's the Association of Professional Treasurers. Other professional organizations that I belong to are the Indiana League of Municipal Clerks, International League of Municipal Clerks. I'm also a member of AIMS, which is formerly IAC, that's the Association of Indiana Municipalities. I've been very involved in volunteering over the years. I've volunteered with the International Special Olympics, American Cancer Society, Can Island Fest, Mishawaka Center Fest, Mishawaka Food Pantry, Habitat for Humanity, the Mishawaka Bill, and the 2016 Our Children, Our Future PAC Committee. In 2017, I was the Mishawaka Business Association Person of the Year, along with my friend Jan Wynn. I've been married for 31 years to my husband Don Block, and he is a retired Mishawaka firefighter. Having said all of that, I would like to turn this back over to Professor.
All right, thank you very much. Eric, this is our max volume on these, is that right?
Yeah, I'll check the closet.
So I think, again, just for the folks who might be watching this later or at home, the closer you can hold it, the better. These aren't terribly loud microphones. We are going to turn next to the council districts. So these are people who represent specific geographic areas in the city and make sure that those residents get the attention they need and deserve. And we will start with Council District number 1, Dale or Woody Emmons.
Good evening, and thank you for the invite to this forum. My name is Woody Emmons, and I'm running for the 1st District Council seat in Mishawaka, which is the west end of Mishawaka. I was born and raised in the city of Mishawaka. I've lived in the Mishawaka area all my life. I graduated from Mishawaka High School in 1963 and then went on to Indiana State where I graduated in 1967 with a bachelor's degree in education. My wife and I have been married 52 years. We have 2 children, Christy and Steve, and 7 grandchildren. All of them reside in Mishawaka. I've served on the Mishawaka School Board for 20 years. I served at the state level for 8, and I served at the national level for 4. I have a very keen interest in serving my community. That is why I'm running again for re-election on the City Council. I'm finishing my 4th term on the council and seeking my 5th term. My father always instilled in me at an early age that when you live in a city or town, that you just don't take from that city and town, that you have to give back to that city and town. And so by serving in the public sector, I feel I'm leading that situation what my father instilled into me way in my early years. I take pride in being a councilman, serving my district. I stand up for my constituents. I hold monthly meetings. I've done it for the last 16 years, every Thursday of the month, where I invite my constituents to come, and we have a program, and we have interesting topics that benefit my area. So, like I say, I take pride in working with my constituents. I'm well known in that area. I grew up in that area, and I lived in that West End all my life. And a lot of the constituents have known me since I was just a little tiny. And I'm glad you're still there. I take my job as a councilman very seriously. I am retired. It gives me the opportunity to spend a lot of time in my district, working with the people, working with my fellow councilmen, working with our mayor and city clerk. It's very important that you engage in your community when you're in public service. So with that, I want to thank each and every one of you for attending. I want to thank the League of Women for inviting me, and I appreciate your attendance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will turn next to Council District 2, and we'll hear first from Republican Mike Sullivan.
Hello, and I'd like to thank the women's voters for inviting me here this evening. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. Mishawaka is my hometown. I'm a lifelong resident. My parents lived in the 2nd District, and that's where I grew up. I went to St. Monica's Grade School, Mishawaka High School, and Indiana University, earning a BS degree in business management. After graduating from IU, I went into the Marine Corps for 4 years and served as an officer. I returned home and earned an MSBA degree in business management from IUSD, and I paid for that by utilizing the GI Bill. After my active duty in the Marine Corps, I came back home to Mishawaka to live and work here. My wife and Pat and I raised our 3 daughters in Mishawaka, and it's a great place for them. I've been married 46 years, and we make December 7th, or December 9th, I'm sorry. My work experience includes working in labor relations in manufacturing settings in both union and non-union environments. I also taught HR and leadership courses as an adjunct instructor at Purdue and IUSB. I came to the council when Dave Wood left the council, and I replaced him in late 2010. My military career spanned 30 years. I spent 4 years on active duty and 26 years in the reserves, and I retired as a lieutenant colonel. As a council member, one of my priorities is maintaining the fiscal stability of Mishawaka. I'm a member of the Budget and Finance Committee, and it's important to me that our department budgets are realistic and in line with what's happening with the fiscal cliff. Public safety is also a high priority. As a member of the Personnel Committee, I want to ensure that we continue to pay fair wages to our public safety employees. This will ensure our ability to continue to hire and retain talented personnel while keeping our citizens safe. I also feel strongly that a business-friendly environment is essential to a healthy and vibrant city. I will continue to work to maintain this friendly environment, and that should assist us in attracting new business and growing our city. And finally, property values are a big concern to me and also all of our residents. I'll continue to help protect property values by working closely with our code enforcement in the 2nd District. Why should someone vote for Mike Belovich in the 2nd District? I think my proven experience, my integrity, my leadership, they're all tied to common sense values. I'm responsive to my constituents. I'm either just a phone call or an email away. I have passion for my community. I love Mishawaka, and I want to keep it moving in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we will hear from District 2 candidate Joel Dendu.
Thank you to the American Democracy Project and to the League of Women Voters for hosting us this evening. And thank you to all of you for coming out this evening. My name is Joel Dendu. I've lived in Mishawaka since 1997. I have a beautiful wife and 3 beautiful children. I attended Mishawaka High School, Bethel College, Arizona State University, and Notre Dame Law School. I have a small law practice in downtown Mishawaka with my law partner, Dick Curry. He and I, among other things, have the privilege of representing the library that we're in right now for this event. I've knocked on a lot of doors and have had numerous conversations over the past few months. One of the questions I ask when speaking with people is, do you have any particular concerns about the city? Most individuals, perhaps because they just want to get me off of their porches as quickly as possible, respond, no, not really. And I somewhat awkwardly reply, well, I guess that's a good problem to have. And I'm mostly in agreement with that sentiment. The current state of the Princess City appears to be, for the most part, solid. But it's easy to become complacent with success, and downturns inevitably come. We are eventually going to face challenges as a city, possibly sooner rather than later. Whether it's tax caps, a slowing economy, or a drying up of TIF funds, tough decisions are going to have to be made, and creative solutions are going to have to be put together. My educational background and my professional background position me to handle those tough decisions and to come up with those creative solutions. And the fact that I have 3 young children who are using the city's parks, schools, and services means that I am deeply committed to the city's future success. If elected, I'm prepared and I'm motivated. I appreciate your time, and I'm grateful for any support that you can provide me with. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So those are your District 2 candidates. And now we will hear from District 3 candidate Tony Hazen. And I'm not mentioning partisanship. I don't know if viewers want to know. I hear that Mishawaka often looks past partisanship with Mishawaka voters. Tony is a Republican candidate.
I want to thank everybody for taking your time out tonight to come. My name is Tony Hazen. I'm running for the 3rd District Council seat in Mishawaka. The 3rd District is out east. It runs south of the river and north of Harrison. The west boundary is Beeger, and then it runs all the way to the city limits. I'm a lifelong resident of Mishawaka, born in St. Joe Mishawaka Hospital, attended Mishawaka schools all the way from kindergarten to 12th grade. I've been married to my wife, Leanne, for 44 years. We have 4 children and 9 grandchildren. All of our children and grandchildren live in the city of Mishawaka. Leanne and I own and operate Hazen Enterprises, which runs and operates convenience stores, subways, and storage units. Before Hazen Enterprises, I served in the Mishawaka Police Department for 23 years. While in the police department, I served in several positions and held several ranks. I was assigned first to the Metro Drug Unit for 2 years, working undercover. I was then assigned to the Mishawaka Police Department Detective Division as lieutenant in charge of the afternoon shift. My next promotion was to Assistant Police Chief in charge of the Uniform Division. The last 6.5 years, I served as the Police Chief under the appointment of Mayor Robert C. Beaver. I oversaw the entire operations of the police department, including 105 sworn officers and 35 civilian employees. While serving as the police chief, excuse me, I was fortunate to attend and graduate from the Police Executive Leadership Academy, where I was voted leader among leaders. I also attended the FBI Law Enforcement Executive Development School. I served for 1 year as the Vice President of the Indiana Police Chiefs Association. I believe elected officials have the responsibility to provide an honest and transparent government. It is their mandate to provide cost-effective infrastructure and services that provide for substantial growth in their city, both residential and commercial. It is their duty to work with the citizens that they represent, to provide the necessary services and programs to ensure we have safe neighborhoods and business districts within our city. Mayor Wood said it best: government should be honest, friendly, and hardworking. I am running for City Council because I have a great love for the city of Mishawaka. I'm running for the City Council because I think we all have a duty to ensure our community is the best it can be, where our children and grandchildren can live and prosper. I'm running for City Council because I believe Mishawaka is the best hometown in America. I'm running for City Council because I know what has to be done to keep our neighborhoods and parks safe. I'm running for City Council because I know for a fact that I can meet and exceed the standards that the citizens of Mishawaka hold their elected officials to. Honest, friendly, and hardworking. Thank you.
All right, we will hear next from District 3 Democratic candidate Stacy Petco Rysdorf.
Thank you very much for having us here tonight. Like many of you, I am a lifelong resident of Mishawaka. I've spent 49 of those years right here in the 3rd District, or in my district, which is the east side of Mishawaka. I was raised by 2 loving parents who spent over 60 years serving our community. I went to school in Mishawaka, graduated from Mishawaka High School, earned my bachelor's and master's degree from Indiana University, and was fortunate enough to bring back my skills to Mishawaka classrooms. I come from a family that values hard work. I was a Mishawaka middle school teacher for 23 years. While teaching the youth of our city, I served as the building representative for John Young Middle School for 20 years. I was on the labor management team several of those years, fighting for better wages and working conditions for our teachers. I also was an adjunct professor at IUSB and St. Mary's for many of those years. I did not become a teacher thinking I would get rich. I did it because I'm passionate about serving our community and the youth of our community. I have been involved in pivotal moments for School City, particularly when serving on the committee to combine Beaker and John Young Middle Schools. I led 50 students on a once-in-a-lifetime experience where they had the opportunity to meet President Bill Clinton, speak in Washington Park in Michigan City on his way to the Democratic National Convention, and every student had the opportunity and the honor of meeting him and spending a few brief moments with him. I've devoted my spare time to volunteer efforts such as Pack Backpack, American Cancer Society, and coaching a number of youth sports, especially when I was younger. Those moments have allowed me not only to give of my time and talents, but also show my students and children what it means to be active members of our community. I can confidently say that I achieved the latter. My grown children, Matthew and Maggie, are well-rounded and accomplished young adults. They were both graduates of Mishawaka High School, both served on the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, both valedictorians of their respective classes, but most importantly for me, they are civic-minded, caring people. I am currently teaching 7th grade science in the final stages of wrapping up my principal's license and will start my doctorate in educational leadership in June. I am truly a lifelong learner. During the time I've served the 3rd District City Council as representative, I've worked hard to not only maintain but grow the Twin Branch Neighborhood Watch that meets monthly, focus on public safety, focus on continued economic growth in our city, and support our first responders. If I'm fortunate enough to be reelected, I would continue to listen before I speak. I would welcome the concerns and suggestions from constituents, and I would value the voices of experience. I am loyal to the Democratic Party, but my educational background has taught me 2 things about civic engagement. As a student and a teacher, I understand the importance of doing your homework, learning all that I can about the issues before making a decision. I'm willing to listen to all sides, make informed decisions. I would be patient and diplomatic, but not afraid to suggest innovative ideas. When faced with challenging decisions, I would turn to the citizens of the 3rd District for their input, and I would always choose to do what I believe would be best for the city and its citizens. Thank you very much for having me here tonight.
Thank you. And now we turn to Council District 4, and we hear first from Democrat Corey Smith.
Thank you, Professor, and thanks to everyone for coming out tonight. Thanks to you that are attending, participating via Facebook Live, and thanks to the League of Women Voters and the American Democracy Project out of IUSB. I wanted to say a little bit about my background and talk about my experience, which I think is applicable for City Council in a position. I have lived a life in the military growing up as a kid. My father was in the Air Force. My wife's father was in the Army. Her sister-in-law is a colonel in the Marines, and her husband is a naval aviator, recently retired. I grew up moving around about every 3 years as a child, and grew up also later as the oldest son of a single mother. I attended undergraduate and law school, and I paid for my entire education myself. No one gave me anything. I worked hard to get where I am. And so my work after I graduated from law school and passed the bar, I went to D.C. and worked in the public interest. I worked on behalf of vulnerable populations and those that did not have a voice. I had worked in law firms before law school. I think the law practice is very important and good, but it was a path that I didn't want to do. I wanted to work on behalf of those that didn't have a voice. And so with that, I worked on human trafficking, trying to end human trafficking. I worked on issues around domestic violence. I worked on behalf of children's rights. What I'm most proud about that work is I was able to foster coalitions of likely or unusual suspects. And by that I mean on trafficking, I would work with law enforcement, the FBI, attorney generals, prosecutors, and work with victims of trafficking, survivors of trafficking, and nonprofits. I also worked with conservative Christian evangelical organizations and also progressive groups and NGOs on immigration reform. I could go on, but I haven't shied away from tough issues either, like immigration. I've also worked across the aisle. I think our national politics are often broken, as we see in the news, but one reason I'm excited to work on the state and local levels is because I think we can get things done. I'm not here to play politics. I don't want to be partisan. I want to get things done and do what's best for Mishawaka. I'm very excited to live here. My wife and my 9-year-old son are here. I think this is a fantastic community. I know that 3 issues that I really want to work on if I'm elected on City Council are for smart growth, a lot of good growth. I want to make sure it's smart and good for the community. I also want to work on public safety. It's been addressed, but I think really important as part of public safety and security is to have benefits and salary and training for first responders, for police and firefighters. That is competitive, and we get the best candidates. We also keep them, retain them. I think that professional experience over time is vital, and also the ties that they build in the community over time are essential. And I think the last thing I would say is just reliable city services. The city services, in my experience, have been good. I want to say that. But I think those are the things that are really important to constituents. Every day they step out the door, they get in their car, they drive on the road, the roads, paving the alleys, garbage pickup, snow removal, leaf pickup, and also the infrastructure. The city has been around since 1833. agree, natural wear and tear over time in infrastructure is important. And not only is it important for the wear and tear, but also the growth. And so that's part of smart development as well. So with that, I'll conclude, and I just want to thank you all again for being here, and I hope that I can have your support from the fourth district. So thank you.
We will hear next from 4th District Republican, Kate Volker.
Hi, everybody. My name's Kate Volker. I want to thank all of you for allowing me to be here, especially Elizabeth for coordinating everything. My name's Kate Volker. I'm sorry, I'm just going to do this. My name is Kate Volker. I've been your 4th District City Councilwoman for 7 years. I grew up in South Bend. I graduated from St. Matthew's grade school, Marion High School, and St. Mary's College. I'm a former nonprofit executive and now own my own business as a senior move manager. I help people downsize and move. My husband Mark and I chose to move to Mishawaka 30 years ago, where we moved into an historic home, or money pit, as we like to refer to it, on Lincoln Way. We raised 4 children here, and we're very, very committed to the community. You may be wondering why I'm wearing this hard plastic turtleneck on such a warm evening. Well, one morning in April, on my way to breakfast, I misstepped, fell down the stairs, and broke my neck. I had surgery about a month ago, and this fancy turtleneck is essentially a cast. I want you to know that I'm on the mend, and I recommend that you hold on to the railing when you walk down the stairs. If someone had told me when I was in college that I would be a city councilwoman, I would not have believed them. But I am, because I care. I began my public service many years ago when a large drugstore chain wanted to build a store on the corner of Lincoln Way East and Cedar. I thought that putting a retail store on that corner would result in sliding property values on the east side of Mishawaka. I also felt, and still do, that the St. Joseph River was an incredible treasure, and that putting a retail store there was a waste of a valuable asset. I helped organize our neighborhood against the development, and ultimately CVS built a store in downtown Mishawaka instead of on the river. From there, I joined the Historic Preservation Commission. I was first elected to the council in a caucus in 2012, and then re-elected in 2015. I love my work on the council, where I serve on several committees as well as on the Historic Preservation Commission. Over the last 7 years, much has been accomplished in Mishawaka, including 2 new underpasses on Main Street and Union, several new mixed-use apartment complexes opening, more to come, many expanded and improved parks, new businesses moving in like Lippert Components, who also brought a couple hundred jobs here. All of these exciting things are designed to improve the quality of life for Mishawaka citizens, and I am very proud to have been a part of it. Most importantly, though, I love helping people solve problems. Whether it's a code enforcement issue, a broken sidewalk, a railroad crossing, or a need for city services. When I can help you find a solution, I feel like I'm doing my job. In summary, my goals are to help cultivate safe and beautiful parks and neighborhoods by supporting code enforcement, to promote business and job growth by supporting new and expanding businesses in our community, to assist our superior police and fire departments as they work to keep us all safe, to advocate for fiscal responsibility by asking questions about our budget and how complex issues like TIP, income tax caps, and federal mandates impact it, and to help Mishawaka schools by being a champion for our students, administration, and athletes. I would really like to use my experience and passion to continue to work on your behalf as the 4th District Councilwoman, and I would like to ask for your vote on November 5th. Vote Volker. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we move on to District 5, and we will hear from Mike Thompson. Oh, that's right. We will not hear from Mike Thompson today. He is running uncontested for District 5. And so we move, and he's out of town and unable to. We will now move to District 6, and we will hear from Ron Vinicki.
name is Ron Manicki. I am in my 4th term as 6th District Council person, running for my 5th. I'm married to my wife Kim. We've been married for 34 years. I have 2 children and 4 grandchildren. I am the owner-operator of Ron's McKinley Marathon in South Bend. I have 8 employees, and that has helped me with my council by being able to stay within budget. By being the only business owner right now on the council, I can bring a different perspective to some of the things that we're doing here in Mishawaka, and I think that's a huge help. The 6th district in Mishawaka is on the northwest side. I have just mostly commercial, and then a lot of apartments up on the northwest side. So it's important for me to work with possible developments and businesses that may want to come to Mishawaka. We try to work the best we can with them. Sometimes if they don't work or they're not going to fit into a certain spot, we just have to be honest and tell them that. All in all, we've done very well. Both Grape Road and Main Street continue to just regenerate. When we have a property going dark, sometimes you're taking it down and rebuilding. So that's a beautiful thing, considering how big that is compared to everywhere else in the state. As far as the environment, one of the things that I've done over the last few years is anytime something's coming close to Jude Creek, I really try to protect it. It's one of the waterways that people just don't even realize how close they are to it. There's fish in there and everything else, so we've got to protect some of these things that we have. I think that I've done very well in working with the administration over the last 16 years, Mayor Wood and 2 previous mayors. And I think that by us working as a team, it just works so much better than personal things. I have 0 personal agendas. I've been here long enough that, you know what, if I had something they wanted, it's been long, long gone. So at this point in time, I would just thank you for your support in the past, and then appreciate your vote come November 5th. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we will move to our at-large candidates. We have 5 candidates seeking to represent the city. That's all the residents of the city on the council. And that includes 2 Republicans and 3 Democrats. And we will hear first from Republican candidate Maggie Denage.
I am not a native of Mishawaka. I was born and raised in San Diego. And 15 years ago, my husband and I, he's a native of Mishawaka, my husband and I decided to leave America's finest city to the Princess City. Besides marrying my husband, that was the best decision I have ever made in my life. Good evening. I'm Maggie DeBate, and I'm running for an at-large seat on the Mishawaka Common Council in the upcoming election on November 5th. I will be a new voice on the City Council. I bring the perspective of working wife and a mom who has helped provide for my family financially, at work, and domestically at home. I know the importance of maintaining a balanced budget with careful spending. My life experiences, which are varied, include working for more than a decade in book publishing with Hartford Brace. As a master gardener and horticulturist, I worked in physically demanding environments in all types of weather. I worked in security at the U.S. Embassy, New Delhi, India, a position which required my having a secret clearance with the U.S. Department of State. I currently hold a position with the Institute of Educational Initiatives at the University of Notre Dame and have been recently promoted to Assistant Business Coordinator, where I help my team manage $1 million annual budget. I've been involved in my community, Mishawaka is my community, volunteering for well over 10 years at Pet Refuge, where I clean kennels, scoop litter, socialize with the yet-to-be-adopted dogs and cats, and as a teen grandmom and scorekeeper for my grandkids' ball teams at Mishawaka's East End Little League. I've held positions of judge and inspector for our county polls for several years. I vigorously promote volunteerism for community activities and I encourage public involvement to strengthen the quality of life for all Mishawakans. I support economic growth of Mishawaka through the judicious use of TIF money and tax incentives that will bring in the businesses that will provide jobs for Mishawakans. I wholeheartedly support our city's police officers, firefighters, EMTs, and 911 dispatchers, all of whom work tirelessly to protect and serve the citizens of Mishawaka and its surrounding areas. I will do what I can to make sure that they have the resources they need to do their jobs and be compensated fairly. Mishawaka is blessed with beautiful parks, open spaces, and I will work to keep them clean, safe, well-maintained for the enjoyment of all of our citizens. I want to thank the American Democracy Project, the Mishawaka Penn Harris Public Library, and the League of Women Voters for this opportunity to meet with citizens of Mishawaka this evening, and I look forward to our panel discussion on October.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Maggie. We hear next from Republican candidate Dale Freeman.
Professor, thank you. Excuse the wrong hand beside you as well. Going to move it up a little bit after Maggie's done with it. First of all, yes, thank yous are out to all the audience in attendance, to the people from the Mishawaka Penn and Harris Library for hosting this, of course, to the American Democracy Project and the League of Women Voters. As stated by some of the previous candidates, let me take this thing out. I am a lifelong resident of the city of Mishawaka. Not only am I a lifelong resident, I've worked for the city continuously in one capacity or another for the last 43 years of my life. First 3 years I was on the street department. Anybody remembers the blizzard of 78 or 80? The next 36 years I spent on the fire department, where I served 19 years as chief. I oversaw a budget of over $11 million. I had 113 employees directly underneath me, which at the time was 20% roughly of the city of Mishawaka's workforce. I know the city. I've lived here. I know every corner of the city. I want to give back to the city and I want to keep giving to the city. On a personal note, my beautiful wife, Tina, 35 years, a resident, lifelong resident of Mishawaka as well. As I said, it's been my honor to work for the city of Mishawaka. It's just not a job, it's been a career, it's been a vocation, it's been a calling to me. I love the citizens. I want to continue to represent them as best I can. Along with my platforms, of course, neighborhoods. Our biggest investment that we all have are our homes. If we can't maintain the integrity of our homes and our neighborhoods, our city can face dire straits. I will work diligently with code enforcement to give them whatever resources they need to do their job in conjunction with the police department. Absentee landlords and tenants need to be held accountable along with problem properties. Along with this, I was appointed to the Integrated Public Safety Commission by Governor Joseph Curry at the time. My 36 years in public safety has been the greatest blessing of serving the citizens of Mishawaka. Along with that, I served under 3 different mayors, Mayor Buter, Mayor Ray, and currently Mayor Wood. Public safety is near and dear to my heart, as well as the neighborhood integrity is. Also, the third platform issue that I want to run on is responsible development within the city of Mishawaka. I think sometimes we lose sight of this, we get a little bit ahead of ourselves, but the needs and the interest of the taxpayers of the citizens of Mishawaka need to be put first and foremost. I'll be elected by the citizens of Mishawaka, not by the surrounding city communities. I'm running to the votes of the citizens of Mishawaka, and not the outlying communities. With that, I would like to thank everyone in attendance this evening. Thank you so much.
I'm smiling because the last statement reminds me of a question on the voter guide that all the candidates will be receiving. If it's not in your inbox already, it will be by tomorrow morning. So the vote411.org guide will allow you to enter your questions, answers verbatim, and then that will be available for people to read and for those running contested races, the South Bend Tribune will also print select answers and then send people back to the web for any additional responses and to see more from the uncontested candidates. And so I encourage all the candidates to look out for that. You will be receiving that in your email, whichever one you use to accept the invitation for this evening's public forum. And for voters, all you will have to do then, starting the day before early voting or absentee in-person voting, is put a vote411.org and enter your address. You'll be able to see what each of the candidates have to say. So we will continue with our at-large candidates, hearing next from Democratic candidate Greg Hicksenbaugh.
Good evening. Thank you to our event sponsors and organizers, as well as our friends at the Public Library for hosting us this evening. Again, my name is Greg Hicksenbaugh, and I, along with many of my friends who have spoken this evening, am a lifelong resident of Mishawaka. I have been married to my wife Lynn for 29 years, and I am a proud father of 2 boys, Mitch, who is 25, and Mike, who is 21. And quite frankly, one of the reasons I became involved in politics was that it was my desire and hope that Mishawaka would be the place that they chose to live and raise their families, and I want to do my part to make that possible. Public service is a tradition in my family. I am the brother and brother-in-law of public school teachers. I have a brother who currently serves as an officer in the Mishawaka Police Department, and I am the 3rd Hicksenbaugh to serve on the Mishawaka City Council, an honor of which I'm very proud. By education and training, I'm an attorney at law and currently serve as a human resources consultant for various public and private employers in the community. I'm fortunate enough to be in my 13th year of service on the City Council, although I had an 8-year hiatus in between my first 3 terms before rejoining the City Council in January of this year. And I soon found that the issues that were important to me during my prior terms remain important today. Supporting our public safety services, since that is the #1 responsibility of local government. Continuing to focus on common sense economic development so that we have jobs coming to the community and stay in the community so that our residents are able to support themselves and our families. And then also continued focus on the needs of our traditional neighborhoods. As we expand and grow, we can never leave behind the neighborhoods that have long made Mishawaka residents. Now, we have already heard, and we'll hear from everyone tonight, all of my friends and colleagues, their commitment to the best interests of Mishawaka and their love for the community. The good news I have to share with you is that it is true. What I believe, however, distinguishes me as a candidate is, first and foremost, my ability to be able to understand and research the complex issues that come before us as a member of the City Council. My willingness to listen and consider all points of view, not just those that I agree with. And also my commitment and continuing desire to stand and fight for what I believe to be the best interests of the community, regardless of political and personal consequences. So again, I want to thank you for the invitation to speak to you this evening. I look forward to speaking with those of you in person. I appreciate your time and attendance, whether you're here digitally or not. And for the record, although I was challenged by my colleagues to be able to get this in under 3 minutes, I believe I have met the mark. So thank you, and I appreciate it.
Right, thank you very much. We hear next from Democratic candidate Matt Momalente.
Thank you very much, Professor, ADP, the LWB, and the Public Library. Thank you very much this evening. I'm Italian, so I talk with my hands, so I'm going to try to keep this in place. I am Matt Momalente, as she explained. I am the council member currently on the City Council. I'm serving my 8th year. I started my grade school career at St. Joe, Mishawaka, and went there K through 8th grade. I went on to Mishawaka High School, and then continued my education and graduated from the University of Notre Dame. So in all, I really haven't left this area. I had the opportunity to follow my friends all over the world after graduating. I did for a while. I I had the opportunity to get a job anywhere in the country, and I chose Mishawaka. Thankfully so, I was fortunate to meet my wife, Katie Mamelecci, who is on hiatus as a public school teacher. We've been married for 12 years. I have 3 very active young children, 10, 8, and 5. And I am fortunate enough that they also want me to coach all their sports. So by day, I am a sales manager for a chemical distributor, city council, parent, coach. I do this not because I don't have anything to do. I do it because I love it. I truly do. I wish I could do this full time. My passion is here. Ever since I had those 3 kids, I knew I wanted to stay in this town. And I want them to stay here as I did. And how do I do that? I want to provide a great, friendly, safe, clean environment for them to raise their children, to work. I want to create a city that businesses say, there's a lot of talent here. I want to bring my business here. I want recent graduates, or recent high school graduates or college graduates to say, I want to stay here. They're good employers here. With all that being said, I am on my 8th year on city council. I've served 2 terms as president. I served as chair or a member on several committees. My tagline is, let's get the community involved. I have either hosted or co-hosted over 50 neighborhood watch meetings monthly in those 8 years. I'll pass a balanced budget every single year. And again, my main focus will be public safety, clean and safe neighborhoods, and business-friendly city. I appreciate you guys being here this evening. I thank everybody involved for this invitation. I look forward to your support in November. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Matt. We heard next from Brian Tanner.
Thanks to the American Democracy Project, Dr. Binion, your students, one of which used to be my wife in this program a couple years ago, and I know she appreciated what she learned through it. And thank you for the Mishawaka Penn Harris Public Library. I'm getting my Lions Club and my libraries mixed up there for a second, for hosting us, and I look forward to being here again next Thursday. My name is Brian Tanner. I'm one of 3 at-large city council members, and I'm running for re-election. I'm a member of the Wage Negotiating Committee with the police and fire unions, as well as chair of the Public Health and Safety Committee. I have a background consisting of 12 years in civil engineering, designing roads, utilities, private developments, and public spaces. I've also had the privilege of being a part of nonprofits and community service since joining scouting in my youth, earning the rank of Eagle, continuing today as a volunteer coach for several youth sports, as a past president of the Mishawaka Lions Club, of which I'm still a member, and as board member of several organizations throughout the community. I'm an imperfect person running for office in an imperfect city. I'm a problem solver, a listener, and committed to representing you in the best of my abilities. But the reason I love serving, and the reason I'm running for re-election, is that public service should be personal. It's something which is often lost when we crunch the numbers, balance budgets, and decide where and how to invest limited funds. Of course, we must plan for a future where our community is developed, protected, and funded to ensure it is a hometown everyone can be proud of. A hometown people either don't want to leave or are driven to come back to. But we do that by putting people first in every decision we make. It is personal for me with my young family, my wife, my 2 kids, our nephew that we're guardians of, because I see that the struggle many households face. It's personal because I see the limitation of those with accessibility issues. Because I see the ebb and flow of neighborhoods that people want to or don't want to raise their families in. Because the quality of those neighborhoods has a direct correlation to the quality of our schools. That those schools, and our libraries for that matter, provide the future workforce and impact the long-term value of our homes. And lastly, it's personal because our public safety is at stake as our population continues to grow, grows older, and is influenced by surrounding communities. With those thoughts in mind, Mishawaka has gone through a wave of changes, from growth in industry, the settling of Belgian and Italian immigrants, the transformation into a regional retail hub, and this came with investments, heavy investments in infrastructure. It has funded our growth over the past few decades, but maybe a liability is the outlook of retail is shaky. With advancements in online shopping and at-home delivery, we don't know what the future holds. Representatives of big box stores have even admitted to a 25-year lifespan of their buildings. And it's troubling that we may one day see insurmountable costs to maintain the infrastructure serving the north side of town if those big box stores fail. We've also seen hundreds of good paying jobs leave the city in the past year, such as Bayer, United Conveyor, AM General, which became SF Motors. So the big question we as the city must answer is, if those businesses fueled Mishawaka the past 40 years, what is the critical and generational vision which will support our community over the next 40 years? I'll continue to work toward this future for as long as the people of Mishawaka give me the privilege to do so. I'm proud to serve you to the best of my ability, and with the understanding that the weight of every decision we make will either be a benefit or a burden for the future of our city. Public service should be personal, and I have made every decision with that in mind. Thank you very much for your time.
And last, but certainly not least, we will hear from Mishawaka Mayor Dave Wood.
Thank you very much. Also want to thank Elizabeth and League of Women Voters, American Democracy Project, and my alma mater, IUSB, for hosting this. I am a lifelong resident, as you heard, a lot of us here tonight, lifelong resident. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Mishawaka, born and raised. In fact, I am a fifth generation of my family to call Mishawaka home. My mom's family migrated here from Belgium about 5 generations ago, the early 1900s, and my father's side of the family migrated here, moved here from Tennessee and Alabama. Both very different cultures, but came here for one very simple reason, to work at ball band. And that they did until it closed. I married then a Mishawaka girl, my college sweetheart, Jamie. We've been married now for 24 and a half years, soon to be 25. And she too is a third generation Mishawaka resident and her family from Sicily. And we have had 4 children together. And one of those has just graduated from college from Butler University. She's home temporarily, preparing to study as a physician assistant, where she'll continue her studies. I've got one as a junior at the University of Notre Dame. She is a chemistry and a pre-med major. I have one senior at high school who's taking building trades over at Mishawaka High School, and I've got an 8th grader who has inherited my love for the city of Mishawaka. My background, I've been mayor for nearly 10 years now. Before that, I worked on the city council for about 11 years. Got elected in 1999 on neighborhood issues, and a lot of door-to-door. While working on the council, I worked at the local hometown bank, Resource Bank. Worked at a job I loved for many, many years. And I can tell you too that I've worked my entire adult life within 4 blocks of this building right here. Since becoming mayor, my job has been to promote Mishawaka and public safety. It's job 1. And I'm proud to say that our crime has consistently gone down ever since I've become mayor. And we are always listed as among the safest communities in the state of Indiana. We have seen unprecedented economic growth since I've become mayor. We've seen 5 years of over double digits, or over $100 million of growth. And we continue to see unprecedented growth in our downtown. And so, looking forward, I'm going to tell you about my priorities, which are public safety, building a fire station, new police station, and continue to equip our police and fire departments the way they need to be. We are going to move into a new city hall over the course of the next 4 years. And we're going to focus on a new neighborhood improvement it should be keep rates stable. My motivation, this is not a stepping stone for me. I'm in the only political position that I aspire to. I'm served in the highest and best position in all of politics, and I was serving my hometown as a citizen. And so that's my motivation. I'm honored to get to work with this great council and candidates. We've had not one party line vote in my tenure in the last 10 years. We hope to continue that. It's the honor of my life to serve in this position, and I thank our citizens for making it possible.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of the candidates. As you heard, we'll be back here in the library on October 3rd with the at-large council candidates. That's Maggie DeMade, Dale Freeman, Greg Hickson-Baugh, Max Malente, and Brian Tanner. And then on the 14th of October, we will hear from those running in contested races for Council District 2, Mike Belovich and Joel Bendu. District 3, Tony Hazen and Stacy Petco Reisdorf. And District 4, Corey Smith and Kate Volker. So we hope that folks will come back and that folks in this room will help us spread the word to get even more people here for those important forums where voters can ask their questions of the candidates. There will be note cards and we will get in every question that we possibly can. And that way, that's a great opportunity for Mishawaka residents to really hear from candidates before casting an informed ballot on Election Day, on or before Election Day, which is November 5th. We do have some surveys on your chair if you are here, and even candidates can go ahead and give us some feedback. You can just put why you came, candidate, and we'll know that's you. And again, also look for the League of Women Voters Vote 411 guide. The league teams up with the ADP, the American Democracy Project, to bring you that guide, and also with the South Bend Tribune. You can see some of the other forums coming up in South Bend and also Elkhart. If you have friends living in those communities, perhaps point them our way toward the American Democracy Project and the League of Women Voters of the South Bend area, or League of Women Voters of Elkhart County Facebook pages and websites to learn more about those events as well. But we are thrilled for the first time ever to partner with the Mishawaka Penn Harris Public Library. They have been incredibly gracious, and it's a beautiful space. And we are looking forward to perhaps slightly louder microphones, but otherwise to having this terrific facility. And I know ever since I came to work on the setup for this event, I've been telling everybody, have you been in there? It is just beautiful. So I think we have found a new favorite venue and are very, very pleased. So now we have an opportunity for some informal networking. If we would like to get, if the candidates will humor us, a group picture with all the candidates so we can cut our live stream to 5 live streaming Facebook Live viewers and our official recording now. So we'll do a group picture of the candidates, and then if we can maybe bring up folks from the library and ADP and League and get a quick picture as well. And then we have reception. We have some food in the background. We do hope that you'll enjoy that. My son worked hard to put it out, so please make it feel that it was